Man, what it is, what it ain't, it's the voice of the O. You already know. We back for episode 40 of the From the Jump podcast. I'm your host, DJ, here with a few of my co-hosts, the bro hosts. You know how it go, though. It's the man to my left.
Big Tony in the building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm good, man.
That's what I like to hear. Alex.
I was telling the building.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Straight.
Yes, sir. The man to my far right.
What up?
Billy Earl.
Back at it.
How you doing, brother?
Doing well. How you guys doing?
Hey, I'm good. I can't complain. I'm here.
Complain.
Yes, sir. And today I got a very, very special guest. I've had the opportunity of coaching alongside this guy, working alongside this man.
Sorry, turn your music off.
Oops, shit. Got it. And, have gone to see his coaching, through the years and seeing how he interacts with his players, which I can appreciate. And so the man to my right, the man, the myth, the legend.
Buffett's coaching 6A.
And Buffett's coaching 6A. Some of you may know him as Coach D, Coach Deangelo, Coach Debo. The man Deangelo's here with us today.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
No, I appreciate you coming, man. It's been a long time coming. We've been, trying to get you up here, but finally,
Schedules, conflict.
Yes, sir.
Got it done.
Season's over finally.
Right.
And
Sadly.
Sadly. So I'd like to talk about that with you guys. Obviously, we have two high school basketball coaches with us. Have them talk about how their seasons went and how the playoffs are going on right now here in Oklahoma. So, D, how was it? How was your season? How things go?
It was terrible, actually. Trying to rebuild a program.
Mm-hmm.
We won one game last year, won 8 this year, so I guess it's an improvement. But
Absolutely.
still was tough when you're not accustomed to losing. So
Right. No, I get that. And who did you play in the first round?
we played more, and it got ugly pretty quick.
Yeah, I heard they're
We
pretty
only
solid.
suited out. Yeah, Keontae, Marcus Dawkins, Nato. They got a nice team, man. We only suited out 6. 2 of them were freshmen, so the moment you can just see deer in headlights automatically as soon as they walked in the building. It's packed, so we knew it was gonna be a long night.
Right. I get
Try to
that.
get up out of there as quick as possible.
I feel that. Now, Big Tone.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Coach over there at the Sting, man. How's your season go?
It started off great. We were like 13-1, making a run at it. Feeling good. Won our tournament. We was on up and up, and then, every season, basketball's long. You know what I'm saying? So to keep kids, motivated and excited for the season, because they're going to get tired, it's just the name of the game. But then we had lost fumbled a few tough ones, actually. We lost one at the buzzer, and then we lost to a tough Southeast team. So then it was like 3 losses. And it just kind of, me being honest, like the leadership for our team wasn't there to handle us turn that over. They just kind of lost and didn't have the fight to bring it back.
Gotcha.
So we had lost a few more. Then we got it back. We won a few. So ended the season on the up and up. We won like last 3 of our 4. So going to the playoffs was pretty confident. And we were playing well. We had some things happen that kind of shook up the team later in the year, but we thought it was good. Then the ice storm came, and it pushed us back, obviously, all of us, a week, give or take. We didn't get to practice, And usually during that time, playoff week is like go week.
Absolutely.
Like we getting it in, do or die, the whole 9 yards. So we had a break. Then we played on Monday. And the moment was just, it was a surprising way that we went out. The game just didn't feel, right from the jump. We had a lot of seniors that you could tell were kind of nervous, and they knew that this could be it, instead of looking at it like, let's just go dominate like we should.
Right.
And we just lost a tough one to a Deer Creek team that would battle with a lot of teams this year. They lost a lot of games by like 2-3 points. That we beat them by 1 earlier in the year. So, they ended up doing well. They made a little run, got beat by more or whatever. But our season in total, I think we went 17-6, something like that. So I can't really complain from that end. But when it comes to playoffs, we definitely underachieved.
I get that.
Yeah, underachieved. And it was cool, though. But Mustang, we got there 3 years ago. We won 5 games before we got there. And then we went from 5 games to being one of the, top dogs, people would say. And that's where we're at right now. But next year going to be fun, man. It's going to be quite the thing. We got a lot of cats coming up, young cats that can go. It's going to be fun.
Hell yeah, man. So, Deangelo, let me ask you this question really quick, man, because you have coached, in my opinion, at a bunch of different levels. I'm not sure about college or anything, but I know that you coach the AAU circuit as well as high school basketball.
Right.
So what is it like? Let me ask first the difference of whether it's being able to coach a certain way, or you know what I'm saying, being able to kind of, because in my opinion, you can interact with the AAU kids a little differently. Like
Right.
I feel like a lot of the parents kind of know what they're there for. But if you would speak to your experience as being an AAU coach as well as a a high school coach, that is.
I'd say, as far as in between the lines, the difference is AAU is a little more up tempo. Obviously, the talent is probably better because in high school, I mean, it's a little different now this year with the transfer rules changing. But before, AAU, you go get the players that you want, the players that fit your system. In high school, you just kind of had to take who was in your district.
Right.
So that's one difference. I think AAU, you do have more freedom to interact with your kids. While in high school, you're around them more, I would say, 5 days a week. You're in the building with them. But, as a high school coach, there's a lot of interactions that you can't have just because of the rules.
Right.
Whereas AAU, it's not really as restricted. Nobody's really outside of the parents. And, if they trust you, then nobody's really governing that. So, but, yeah, I think that would be the main difference, I would say. But, I mean, I've always been closer with my AAU kids than I have my high school kids for whatever reason. I'm not sure why. I think because AAU, you travel, you're on the road. A lot of times the kids ride with you. And, you have hours to get to know them. I've been told things that I'm sure some parents don't know. This kid, when you're on the road, it's just you against kind of everybody there. So it has a way of galvanizing you, so to speak. And they trust you. And once they trust you, they're willing to confide in you a lot more. So their relationship is always a little stronger, in my opinion. I've been coaching AAU for like 13 years. So I would say that's one difference. But I don't know how Tony feels, but AAU is, to me, like I said, the biggest difference is the talent. I mean, he has a pretty talented kid on his team, Jacoby, but in AAU you can have 4 or 5 guys like that, whereas high school it may not be that way. Sometimes you just
Got what you got.
you gotta take what you get.
Right.
That's kind of what it is. But like I said, I think that the landscape of that is starting to change a lot more now. Kids are kind of transferring, going where they want to go, but. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Okay. So let me ask both of you this question. I'll ask you, Deangelo, first. What would you say? Do you see AAU as a better platform for preparation for college, or do you feel high school is? Because in my experiences, I feel like just with my coaches that I had growing up, like they were just, chair drill, cone drill. Then you go out there and you just run plays for the next hour, 2 hours, instead of actually getting the flow of competition. Because a lot of guys, whenever we run so many plays, but we wouldn't know what it was like being on a 5-on-5 environment, running those things actually.
Now, you talking about from your high school
Yeah,
experience?
Yeah, hearing more. It's
Right.
junior high through high school. It was all we're gonna do the little drills, then we're gonna run through plays for an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on how the coach felt. So, what would you say is the biggest preparation for college when it comes to basketball, AAU or high school?
That's always a
Tricky one.
yeah.
Touchy.
And this may sound cliche, but I think you need both.
No doubt.
Fair enough.
I think if I'm a college coach, I'm looking at it from a standpoint of, it's tough to go to a high school game because you may see 1 or 2 kids that can play, and then everybody else is just kind of mediocre,
Right.
average at best. Whereas AAU, you can probably go to a tournament and see 100 of the best kids play against each other. So I think AAU has kind of, I don't want to say become more valuable, because I don't think any is more valuable than the other. But if I was going to take on the court and just play as far as competition, I would say AAU. But a lot of times AAU is not structured. When you get to college, even with the drive and kick offense and the positionless basketball, you still have to be able to run structure within a continuity. And I think a lot of AAU coaches just kind of let the kids just go. Like it almost looks like a glorified pickup game sometimes. Right. So I think AAU prepares you from just as far as the competition, and high school gives you the structure, because a lot of high school coaches tend to be more play heavy, run their stuff, things like that. But I think as far as just free flowing and letting you play and letting you make the reads and stuff, some high school coaches are different. I think some are starting to come around and let these kids show what they can do as long as they don't get too out of hand. But a lot of them still pass it 10 times before you do anything. Whereas AAU is like, hey, go make the read. You know, right. If you got a matchup you like, go take it. If not, get off of it. Let's move. Let's go get somebody open. So I think it just depends. But, you know, you do need the high school aspect of it, because, you know, high school prepares, obviously, the class work and stuff like that. Stuff you don't have to worry about in the summer when you're playing AAU. But AAU, you travel a lot. In college, you'll travel a lot. So it prepares you for that, how to take care of your body on the road. Like when I have my kids, we don't eat McDonald's and stuff like that. It's like I'm trying to teach you how to take care of your body somewhat now, because if you want to play on the next level, I think that's important. So just from the traveling and the competition and playing with other talented pieces, I would say AAU, but a lot of people would say I'm biased because that's kind of where I cut my teeth at, was in the AAU world. So, but I don't want to minimize high school at all, because like I said, I think you need both. People always ask me what's more important. I mean, it's hard for me to tell because I coach both. Right. So I don't want to say you need one more than the other. I just said each one contributes, you know, valuable attributes to the player.
Gotcha.
So
okay, Big Tom.
You done? I've always said, like, for the kid to be successful in total, both of them got to coexist. And I think a lot of times what happens is AAU coaches and high school coaches bump heads because they're two different conflicts about what they want for the kid. And instead of getting on the same page. And a lot of times, because one coaching style is different than the other, that's where they conflict rather than just trying to find a happy medium. And that's where over the years we've learned that we need our guys to play AAU. Those months you're down, we need you to go play. We just need you to get some run in. Hopefully you go play for a good program that take care of you, put you in the right situations, play good talent. That's the main focus. So they both go hand in hand. But over my 9 years of coaching, AAU has always helped our kids develop in things that we don't necessarily focus on them to develop for our team, because we don't necessarily need that for them for our program, if it makes sense. Right. So we got a kid that's like Trey Palmer, for example. All of us know him. You know, he was in AAU. They let him shoot threes, be point guard, do his whole thing. But with us, we was like, you're the leader, but you're the mismatch down low. Like no one can guard you. We'll spread you out with all that. Then so it just went hand in hand. But he's the only player we've coached over a long time, outside of Jacoby, of course, that got an offer from AAU. Like being at AAU, a lot of the times we got to do our work in high school because we got a lot of film, tons of film, and then we just send it out. Because the college coach is going to call us, even if they get an offer in AAU, and say, what's his grades like? Yep. What's he like as a player? Absolutely. What's he like during the season? Is he a grinder? Is he, those type of things. And because we're with them more, we know those things. When the AAU coaches, sometimes they might practice because during the AAU period, it gets busy. So you might only can practice once or twice a week. Then you got to go for 3-4 days and just play. Well, that's kind of where the difference is in AAU. And then in high school, are they good in scouts? Do they understand how to execute a scout? Those type of things. So I always think it just needs to go hand in hand. And over the years, we've been able to do that. So we legitimately just try to communicate with the AAU coach, like, look, what are y'all doing in the summer? What's he doing? What's he been doing well at? What did he develop over the summer? Okay, cool. Now we can use that. And then we go from there. So that's how I think they both do. You just need them both. They're both growing so well. And the high school coach, he's right. The game is starting to evolve to where we're becoming a little similar to where we kind of play free-flowing. They kind of play free-flowing. And then the structure from both is getting better slowly, but it's happening. Okay. And it's just best for the kids.
Okay. Good stuff, guys. So now we can get everybody a little more involved, man. Obviously, the NBA season's going on. A few questions I want to go around the room and ask.
LeBron James the GOAT.
Oh God, here we go.
Sorry.
Blow it up.
Sorry.
Way better than Michael Jordan, bum ass.
Here we go. Here we go.
Yeah,
Kobe Bryant, all them.
I knew it was coming.
oh God,
He's here. I love it.
Michael Jordan was gambling at this age. LeBron, I heard,
You see that picture? You see that picture they posted
Bro, that
today?
was dirty.
It was LeBron. He's 37 years old. He had 56. Jordan was gambling on the poker table.
Gambling at it. Itching for another dollar. LeBron itching for
No,
another
I'm saying,
point.
I knew he's here, so I knew we could talk about that one. That'd be
Right.
fun.
So let me go around the room and ask, who is y'all's MVP of the NBA so far? Let me start with you, Big Tone, and give me a little reason why.
I like Joel Embiid. You know, I think he's finally been healthy. He's been consistent. He's tough, man. Like, for him to be as big as he is and be able to do what he does, it's just, I mean, Jokic is there too, but he had his time, in my opinion. Now Joel Embiid kind of like, I'm here. And I feel like he's made a statement throughout this season that no one can guard me. This is just the reality of it, and I'm going to get to it. And that's just where I think that's who I'm favorite towards this season.
Yeah, my boy Devon was just using the 76ers. I think Joel Embiid had like 35 and 18 pulling threes.
And his trade made himself it's made him so much harder to guard because now you can't help off so much off of James Harden, all that, so he can just get busy. And then now you're in trouble.
That's true. Alex, how you thinking? Who you got as MVP?
I'll go the same too. I
Joel?
like Joel Embiid.
Okay. Billy Earl? I know you're going to say, I think.
What? Who?
LeBron, hopefully.
John
No, I'm
Morant.
kidding. Ooh, that's true.
That kid right there is something special.
Nah.
Listen, it's no secret that I'm just not like a big basketball head, but holy cow.
He's the future.
Drug test him.
He said
And then
drug
you got, what is happening on that side of the break?
Bro, you saw how he be jumping?
He jumped out the dunk he had in Boston, that alley-oop, and I was like, okay. How tall is he?
Like 6'2", 6'1"?
Okay. Cause
That boy was dunking on racism. He said, y'all better.
oh, right.
I don't
My
know.
fault.
And then, you see where we, you see what I'm saying?
Who do you got?
You know, I may go. I don't disagree with anything you said about Joel.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is that he finally started to take it serious a little bit.
Yeah, facts.
Like I feel like it was reported that he was like lazy, you know, quote unquote, where he didn't take his diet serious, nutrition wasn't there. Where in the gym he didn't work as hard as he should, didn't really take care of his body, and now you see him kind of a revamped, and he is playing out of his mind. Some of this stuff because of course, we saw LeBron drop 56. That's great. He's not going to do that every night. He shouldn't be asked to at 37, but he's just not going to do that. That's just not sustainable. In fact, he's out tonight because his knee hurts. Can you guess why? Like you said, that's just not sustainable. But you got somebody like Joel, who bigs usually of course, you had the bigs back in the day. They got hurt because he had 20 points 3 games in a row. Now he's out for 6 games or whatever. Joel, it's unreal. I mean, we talked about it with your dad a little bit after the episode where he down low is a problem. If he catches the top of the key, he's a problem. Like you have to guard him as soon as he crosses half court, get to the 3-point line. You got to guard him.
All 3 levels.
I don't know bigs in the East, and I watched last episode. You guys were talking about Jared Allen. Now he's hurt. He's out.
Yeah.
So with all these bigs that you're just slowly there's not a big that's going to compete with this dude.
Nah.
You got Giannis, but as far as like stature wise, I don't know if you want those problems down low, Giannis. But I think I would go. I think Joel, but I do like Nikola Jokic. Just like
No doubt.
just very 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 close.
He's so tough.
my-
Last night. Was it last night? Or the night before?
46, 11, and 12.
What?
And the biggest
it's
thing, he's
unreal.
winning with nobody. He ain't got no
Yeah.
teammates right now.
Aaron Gordon is his best teammate.
That's what I'm saying. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, what? 46?
I'm
and
telling you, he
what?
was
46,
stupid.
11, and 12.
And some of the stuff I was like, is anybody gonna guard him?
And
Did we
he,
know?
ain't, he ain't moved fast one time.
No,
his whole
there's
career.
been no
He
catch
ain't
up,
never,
get up,
he, yeah,
nothing.
he ain't never
He the
even.
6'11" Luka, boy.
Exactly.
First off,
Do y'all know why they traded Jeremy Grant for who? The Nuggets? Because I'm like, if they had Jeremy Grant, they'd be solid. But
I think it was the
who.
contract was up.
they traded him to the
I
Thunder?
thought they
No,
traded him.
to the Pistons.
Oh.
So I was just wondering though, because
He was traded
you
from
telling
the
me
Thunder to the
the
Nuggets.
second best player was Aaron Gordon. I'm like, dang, because
Well, no, they got
hurt.
Buddy Jet.
Jamal Grant.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying.
Jamal
Jamal
Murray's
Murray,
hurt.
yeah, he's still hurt.
I know, I'm just saying that Jeremy Grant on there would have been,
Yeah, that
way better than Aaron Gordon in my
Yeah,
opinion.
for sure.
Debo, who you got, man?
I was just sitting up here thinking, man, I can't remember a season where you've had so many people this late in the year that could be in that conversation.
Yeah.
I think you can go with Giannis. I think he's kind of suffering from the LeBron Jordan effect where you can probably get him MVP every year if you
Right.
wanted to statistically. Obviously, Embiid, Jokic, Ja's in that conversation. And I mean, I'm a diehard Bulls fan, so maybe I'm a homer here, but DeMar
Oh,
DeRozan,
yeah. He's making a fight.
I mean, the year that he's put together, man, I think he's just bananas. I don't think he'll win it, but I think he's making an impressive case for it. But you can go so many ways with it, man. I hope it stays that way. Like I said, what are we, about 20-something games left?
Yeah.
And you have 5 people that I think all have a case, and nobody would tell you that you were wrong. But if I had to pick, if I was a gambling man, I would say Joel Embiid. I just think what he's done without Ben Simmons, of course. I know Ben has his flaws, but a top tier player in the league is sitting out. Joel just kind of had to. I won't say do it by himself, but man, I think you saw that he was showing everybody like, look, I can't carry this team by myself. If you just put serviceable pieces around me, I can make things happen. And I think he's shown that. He's probably the most skilled big I've seen since
ever.
King, maybe.
In total, you talking about shooting and everything? Yeah, he might be most skilled ever.
He can dribble too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, back in the Kings day, you kind of had to stay down there.
Right.
But yeah, as far as somebody who can impact the game in a variety of ways and just stuff the stat sheet, Joel he's someone I haven't seen in a while.
Yeah.
So I would go with him.
Okay.
Who you rocking with?
I'm a big Jokic fan, but
Zion.
the way that Joel's been
You say
playing.
Zion?
I'm just asking.
Nah, he coming back. He coming
Hey,
back.
he MVP at the buffet.
He coming back.
Not
Y'all
MVP
better
in no
watch
six-
out.
Who told you that?
Huh, who? They
Zion?
said that it was on ESPN.
They've been saying it all
They,
season.
yeah,
No,
exactly.
They said that he's
He
coming
had
back
the
next
pet
week.
store with them dogs about to eat that owner.
They said he's back in
Bro,
New
what is
Orleans.
wrong?
He back in New Orleans and he finna turn up.
So who you say?
I probably will say Joel just because, again, like he said, as far as serviceable pieces, Tyrese Maxey's nothing to sleep on. And if you have to focus so much on Joel, he's a good little third option, I guess, when they only had Tobias Harris, would have been the number 2.
I like him.
He's solid. Matthias Thybulle, is a good defensive player, does his job very well. I think Joel's going to win it. I'm just surprised and appreciative because he came out, I think, the year that I graduated, back in 2013 or maybe it was 2014.
Yeah.
I think we're about the same age. And, to see him finally put together a healthy season,
That's
you
the
actually
biggest
get to
thing.
see what he's able to do because it was always 20-game stretch or something crazy. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just glad he's not on Kansas anymore.
Yes.
Like I'm telling you, man, in that game held on schedule against Oklahoma, we're not winning this game. We have no answer for Joel.
He was a load, bro.
Monster.
It was stupid.
Pause.
Also, I want to acknowledge that, but I want to acknowledge that it's kind of cool seeing that, like, the top 3, in my opinion, which would be Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, and Giannis, are all foreign-born players,
Yeah, man.
and they're big men. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's been a while since it's been a big man, like all big men as far as the top 3
right.
in MVP race.
Yeah.
And, obviously you get the Ja Morants, DeMar DeRozans, and those guys, but I thought it was very cool because usually it's LeBron, KD,
Right,
James Harden.
But if you look at it from that perspective, is all those cats is young too. Yeah. That's the beautiful part.
Yeah.
And it's scary because you don't want to see the LeBron, the KDs kind of flindle out, which they won't because they're great. But for that type of thing, but the young cats coming in and doing it, it's like that transition from the early 2000s to now. It's just like all those greats are going, but here the new cats come.
Yep.
Yeah, it's nice to see, man. I'm glad. I think it's been a really good NBA season. I'm glad fans are back and everything like that. So let's get a quick rundown of the NBA standings right now. As Deangelo said, we're 20 games closing in. We'll give you everybody from.
Is it 20? Good.
Yeah.
It's probably less than that now.
Yeah, some teams, just depends. Some people had COVID games that they had to reschedule, shit like that. So
That's what we still calling it that.
yeah, number 1, the COVID, Rona. And starting from the East, number 1, we have the Miami Heat. Number 2, we have the Philadelphia 76ers.
Miami is one.
I'm telling you, it's weird, man. I don't
Not
know.
a single soul
That's
is
the
worried about Miami.
safest number 1 season.
Right? No,
I would've never
They're
guessed
never
that.
on TV.
Never.
It don't seem like.
They shouldn't be. Who wants to watch
I
that?
swear Jimmy Butler be hurt every game.
I would have never guessed that.
But I seen Tyler Hero was getting to it the other day.
Oh, yeah. White chocolate. He get buckets.
During Black History Month?
That's the culture there.
Was this in February? It better not been in February.
Just in March. Number 3, we have Milwaukee Bucks tied with Philly, 3 games behind first place. 4th, we have the Chicago Bulls, 3.5 games behind. Number 5, we have the Boston Celtics, 4.5 games behind.
Shout out Jason Tatum.
Yep. Number 6, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers,
Which they about to fall apart now that Jared Allen's out.
right? 5.5 games behind.
It's his hand, right?
Yeah, he has like a fractured finger, I believe.
That's what he get.
Hey, Evan Mobley, nice.
All right.
Let me say that.
He was
Always trying to block something. Sit down sometime.
That's probably. And then for the play-in teams, we have the Toronto Raptors, 8.5 games behind. We have the Charlotte Hornets at number 8. 11 games behind. Brooklyn, number 9, 11 games behind. And then we have the Atlanta Hawks, 11 games behind. That's your playoff and play-in teams.
I'm not a single soul worried about the East.
I'm just Alex. I just want to point
So
this
you can
out.
be a number 1 seed and have to play Brooklyn.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus.
Yep.
And Kyrie
That's
coming
gotta
back.
suck.
Kyrie, they're about to lift it now, right?
Mandate. Yep.
Yeah.
And
Kyrie
I
about
feel
to
like,
go down.
and the only reason I said about the East is because I feel like the West is so like the Warriors.
Suns.
I mean, you
Suns,
watched the
something with
Milwaukee game on
Warriors and
Sunday? Did you watch that? Yeah, Milwaukee beat the crap out of them.
Yeah,
Out of
that's
Phoenix.
like 30. But no, Chris Paul, so I already know y'all.
The point guard was if he wasn't on the floor, don't even.
Hold
you don't
on,
even
Chris,
count
who's
that.
guarding Chris Middleton is my question. Because
Yeah.
Chris
He
Paul
gonna be a
ain't gonna
bucket
guard him.
regardless.
Yeah, 44.
It'd be there.
He's ugly. I can't
Hey,
do
but
it.
the Pelicans though, that's what I'm saying. There's
Bro,
a lot of
can-
people in the West looking like Ja Morant and
people
them.
hating on the Pelicans. They
Like,
they've been.
You're supposed to.
CJ McCollum is that dude.
They were on like
I
a
don't
7
disagree.
game. They were like on a win streak ever since he got traded there. I feel like right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how long the win
he
streak was,
balling.
Okay.
CJ McCollum is nice, bro.
yeah, I feel
I
like
didn't say he wasn't, but the
nobody- yeah,
Pelicans
you know.
suck.
y'all feel like somebody gonna win out the East though, like win the championship.
No.
I really don't think.
No,
so.
I
Listen,
think no.
76ers.
It's hard.
The
It should
Nets
be
have a
hard.
chance. And the thing about the Nets is they coming out the losing side, and they're probably the best team in the East, sincerely. If Kyrie come back full the rest of the season, I bet you they're going to run
Ben
and just
Simmons
rock
come
around.
back.
Ben Simmons shooting like
I don't care.
Bro, he
Look,
you said it last time on the podcast. I watched it. I don't know.
I'm
Bro,
a high
what you
school
talking about?
basketball
This
coach.
man is
I promise
all
you I'll
over-
fix that jumper.
Said I'll fix
You're not
that
fixing that jumper.
I have no
There's
faith in
nothing to
Ben Simmons to
fix.
shoot.
Who got
Sorry, I don't.
It's all mental.
It's all broke. He can't shoot. It ain't got nothing to do with his middle state. This boy
Okay,
can't shoot.
real quick, let me go around. Who got a better shot, Ben Simmons or Russell Westbrook?
The Russ.
Oh, that's tough. That's tough. I'm
got a
gonna
better-
say I'm gonna have to say Ben Simmons. I'm gonna just have to say it.
No, Jesus.
Russ at least got percentage. Ben's got 0 right now.
He don't shoot
That's what
him.
he
though.
right
He
here.
don't shoot him.
You got a gun to my head. I'm choosing Ben.
Ben,
I'm taking Russell Westbrook.
D.
Russell Westbrook may be the worst basketball player I've ever seen.
Thank God.
Talented as can be, but has no acumen for the game.
No.
whatsoever. I'm taking Ben all day.
Hey, okay, if he's on your team, is he on your team? Is he starting? If he on your team?
Who, Russ?
Yes. Coming off the bench like he was supposed to.
He wouldn't be on my team.
Yeah,
I said that when he was
I
here.
traded his ass long time.
Hey,
If you want to put fans in the stands, go get Russell Westbrook. If you
exactly.
want to win a championship, he'll never be
Yep.
a point guard.
that
on
makes
this
sense.
DJ,
That makes sense. That
DJ,
makes
everybody in this room all
I invited
agrees.
the wrong.
Bro, have you watched him play?
I know.
It's
I
bad.
know.
Forget the stats. Just a basketball eye watching him play.
He was saying it all year.
If you have not watched any recent episodes, I have a constant update of whatever the hell's going on in Russ's life through Alex.
It's either he about to turn it over, he looked like he finna turn it over, or he was thinking about it. It's one of those.
It's to the point where it's not even funny anymore. It's not even a joke. It's just like,
concerning.
bro, what are you thinking?
And there's not even good turnovers. Like, it's not like he got doubled and tried to bounce past it, went off a dude's knee, and then they caught it. That was it. I don't know who you're throwing to.
Yeah, bro.
You go to the rim. There's nobody hits you. There's nothing. And the ball goes flying off
be
the
throwing
rim.
it- he be throwing that bad boy far.
bitch like to the other side. Russell, what are you doing, son?
And then my thing is like Russ is triple double, da da da. But I'm like, he was all those assists back in the day. He was dropping off to Steven Adams. He wasn't making like no crazy CP3 dimes. He get in there, they help swing it to Adams. He dunk it.
Rebounds too, though. Them rebounds was off free throws at the time. Nobody was fighting
as a
for rebounds
coach,
like that.
and Tony, you know this. Like sometimes somebody can make a play, and even if it's a bad play, you think as a coach, okay, well, I saw what you were trying to do there.
Right.
The defender just made a great play. Russ does things, and I'm just puzzled at
There ain't no words.
the thought process behind it.
And how are you him? You're Russell Westbrook, and that's what you're thinking.
I don't know. So
He won't be in LA
Let me
after
ask,
this.
man.
And that's the thing that
How
they
many-
want to bring him off the bench. Y'all should have had this conversation in November,
Yeah.
or at least some sort of like roster adjustment because
Should have
it's
been
going to
in
get.
Washington.
Thank
That's
you.
what
Yeah,
it
thank you.
should.
Yes.
Two questions.
Hold on, real
Go
quick.
ahead, go.
Washington's record about the same as it was last year, and they got Kyle Kuzma. Remember he was talking
They
crazy
just
about
added
that?
Porzingis.
They suck.
They just added
what
Porzingis. Did you see how much
Get off
Porzingis scored?
Washington. This ain't got nothing to do with Washington.
I'm sorry.
Did anyone see how much Porzingis
He
scored the
take
other
the
day?
shot.
No, I didn't.
Just asking.
He killed it. He did good.
The Wizards looking, they might be all right.
Before I ask my two questions,
Yeah.
I want to take the time to give Alex his flowers because Alex did say if Kuzma went to the Wizards, he would be better.
That's
And
true.
He's been
I
balling.
didn't say he would make any team better either. I never
Right.
acted like
No,
yeah,
he
he
was
said-
going to
he
change
said
the
he-
dynamic of a team. I say he was going to be good.
That's true.
He's
I give you
putting
that.
up numbers, and he also, for the fucking life of me, believed in Josh Giddey, and
That
the man is
they won 16 games. I don't understand.
Josh
what we're talking
Giddey,
about
I gotta say he's not bad.
He's
It's just the
great.
ugly shit I watched.
I admitted he's not bad. Yeah,
Right.
last time.
No, you did.
Yes, I did.
ain't heard it.
I didn't.
I've
Y'all
watched
are
the podcast
lying.
episodes.
Y'all are
I heard he good, but
Yeah, exactly.
he could pass it, but he could shoot, but
In my eyes, to me, as a basketball guru, I ain't seen it yet. I'm just like, bro.
no, that's not what-
and then finally he texted the group chat, telling me something. I'm here live. I'll let you know if I see it. I ain't getting that one text.
every
message.
time there's a stat we send, you send laughy faces like,
Yeah, like
it's
it
a
was
joke.
like we
it's funny to me.
ain't seen the Kevin Hart videos.
Y'all ain't sent me nothing in a while about Giddey. I'm just
Yeah,
being
we
honest.
did like
He's been
last
hurt.
week.
I'm what that got to do with me?
Debo,
What you?
Yes, sir.
You a Giddey fan?
what is your opinion on Giddey?
He's better than I thought he was going to be.
Thank you.
I'm right there
not
with you.
But you-
completely
that's not what you've never said
sold
that
on
ever.
him, But
All star in
he's
4
better
years.
than I thought he would be.
You think he'll be an all star in 4
All-star
years?
at all?
No.
Thank you.
Okay.
He said
Now,
5 years all star.
He gonna be all star?
No, it's not.
Like 2 or 3.
He not.
He'll be a really good player though.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask this real quick because since we're on Russ, giving me how many years he has left in the league,
None.
and when he leaves the Lakers, where does he go? Debo.
Hopefully to China.
YMCA.
Right.
Oh, that's
Hopefully.
coaching.
Jesus Christ.
I wouldn't
Well,
trust him.
I don't know. I because again, like I don't know that I don't trust you at all. Also, he has the highest paid contract in the league. Production is not there.
No, he does not.
Yes, he does.
It's like 45 right now.
Turn the cameras off.
Bro, I'm not bullshit. It's like 45 this year and then like 46 and a half, 47 next year.
47.
That's, what?
What happened to the rest we trust? You know?
I ain't never trust bro ever. No, the whole time they were talking about we gonna Kevin Durant left, we gonna buy in the rush. Don't do that. Don't just blow it up if that's the case. Because you let Harden walk. Now Katie's out the door. Just blow it up and start all over again. There's no reason he should have done that.
They said he better than CP3 though.
That's got to be a
What?
felony, man.
That's
There's no way.
it's unreal.
I mean, you're robbing the league.
No.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You got
Presti set him up. And them
Steven
guys-
Adams robbed the league first, and then he
Wait a
robbed
minute.
Bro, who?
Steven Adams made as much money as he should have at that
Steven
point.
Adams got 100 mil.
100.
He's still okay
Come
right
on,
now.
bro.
He's
There's
still
no
good
way.
right
You
now.
don't remember that?
I remember,
You
but
think he deserves $100 million?
How much? Okay, how much you think he deserved?
yeah.
30.
Okay, that's.
I mean, my thing is like
for
I don't-
Oklahoma City for their system, like I'll give you more than 30.
50?
I'm not going to give you
Okay.
100.
It's not like he's
But when
bad
he
now
left,
either.
when he left, I mean, he's just a
I don't-
feasible guy.
Yeah,
But think about it, you paying him 100 mil. What can he really
for
do?
what? There's times he playing 30 minutes a game, got 3 rebounds.
You don't see
plays
these
well.
passes
Excuse
he
me?
making the jaw?
Huh?
He making some nice passes to jaw. I know you be seeing them.
God. Alex.
right.
Russell Westbrook.
Did y'all see that pass he makes with Steven Adams can pass the ball?
That Tom
pretty
Brady
good.
pass.
I don't
But
disagree.
I'm saying in general, he could pass the ball okay for big.
So can
And
Giddey.
he can't shoot or nothing, but I mean, he could do
Giddey
get his rebounds, do his generic things.
No, God.
It is not
Alex.
big.
Tony, you realize when Giddey started doing good, I can't wait to see what
I'm
happens.
going to blow your Twitter up.
Alex, I know you're gonna.
Reminder, he's a rookie. I'm just
You're gonna
saying.
be honest.
Exactly.
Russ,
He's a
how many
rookie.
years? What team?
I give it like this summer. I think he'll be out the league. I'm not even joking.
I'm not
No one
disagreeing.
can, no
with
one
him.
can buy him out.
and-
That's the thing.
But yeah, well, except for is it Houston? I think Houston's the only team
Houston
that right
don't
now. Like
want
if they
him
traded
back.
like straight up, it would be like him and John
He
Wall.
gonna go to the Pelicans.
Did you see that he like the report like from Bleacher Report, I believe it was, where it was like it's almost a damn near done deal that he's not back in the Lakers next year.
They said he's been very what's that mean? Not argumentative, defiant
and
about
it's-
his
for
role.
what- So that's
He always is.
so right here. I almost asked this guy. I didn't want to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
As you see, like kids today, with the their millennials, whatever the case is, coaching these kids compared to how it was whenever we were in high school, or even 5 years ago. There's a difference there. Like how you like you said, you may have one player. What's that kid's name that you have over there?
Jacoby?
Yeah, you may have him where he off season killing it, practice, last one to leave the gym, first one to show up, studying film every day, and then you're like, if I had 5 of you, I promise you we'd be so much better.
For sure.
But when you have somebody that is as difficult, obviously you don't have a Russ, but you have somebody that is difficult, but is talented. There's no doubt that Russ is talented. There's a lot that he has to figure out because basketball IQ just ain't there. I don't understand why. What are you supposed to do from a coaching standpoint where I know you can do X, Y, and Z things? Because being coachable, I told Hodges told me when I was like 15, 16 years old, you have to be coachable. I ain't played basketball ever. But I've kept that in my head
Your life.
my whole life.
Facts.
My wife tells me I got to do something. I got to be susceptible to be like, you know what, you're right. Instead of being like, no, that's stupid. You need to change.
Right.
Like, how hard is it to really try to talk to somebody? Which I guess now the NBA is too late. But like, how do you even go about doing that? Like, as a coach, like, listen, you are talented at this, but bro, you can't. This ain't you.
Tony, go.
Please fix it.
So this is almost like an analogy. It's like their senior year, or junior year.
Right,
They
yeah.
had previous history of doing really well, and y'all know that person capable of getting a bucket.
Exactly.
And then at this point, it's like you kind of have to break their heart in a sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we have one kid that's kind of in that situation. Now he's not defiant.
Here.
He's definitely not defiant, but he's just right now he's kind of just lost. You know what I mean? And he's still trying to do what he always done, but it's not being beneficial for him. And I think that's the issue with Russ. Is like you're not evolving with the times right now. You're just trying to keep doing what you've always done.
Yep.
And so we just kind of put it to him like, these are the things that can help you be successful on our team. And if you can't do them, then you can't play. Like, but in the NBA, you're stuck with money and all that type of stuff. So that's different. But when you're young, in my opinion, the bench is the best teacher in the world.
Exactly.
Like, legitimately, you sit them down, and kids can't handle it sometimes, but a mature kid that can handle it, it'll help them figure that out, because all they want to do at that point is get back on the floor, and the only way to do that is to do what we asked.
Yeah.
And so that's when you're young, that's my easiest way to deal with it, because you can have words, discuss. Some kids don't learn like that. So once you sit them down and they're watching their friends get busy, they're like, okay, I need to figure that out. I got to get back out there with them.
Right.
Debo?
I agree with Tony. You know, as a coach, that's always kind of your message sender is the bench. You know, the thing with Russ is I don't think Russ has ever learned how to play basketball. He was just always athletic.
Yeah.
You know, even when he was here, when he was having a lot of success, you know, he was relying on his athleticism. Now that's kind of dwindled a little bit. You start to see, I think the thing that's caught me by surprise more is that he's not able to make the mid-range shot like he used to. You know, that elbow pull-up used to kind of be his thing. And I don't know, maybe that's a confidence thing or something, but yeah, a kid in high school, man, you know, my job as a coach is to be transparent with you and put you in situations to be successful. So if you can't do what we're asking you to do, if you just want to be defiant, as he said, they describe Russ's behavior at the moment, I got to sit you down. You know, it's just that simple. I'm only going to tell you so many times once it becomes detrimental to the team, you know, a lot of kids don't understand, but I can love you to death, but my loyalty is not to you as an individual. We have to do what's best for the team.
Right.
So I can love you to death, but if we're not out here producing, you got to sit by me.
So let me add this to Will's question. How do you handle someone if they're the best? Russ was the best player, obviously, after James Harden and KD left on the team. If y'all as high school coaches, if your best player is that acting that way or is being somewhat defiant, how do you go about that differently? Because I know some coaches, they'll just put up with that shit. And they'll be like, if not, we're going to lose by 50 every game.
Yeah.
Some coaches have the mentality that, shit, I'll take that 50-point loss. So a message has to get across. So, Big Tone?
And when a lot of times if you make the statement with the best player, a lot of the other stuff doesn't happen. So like if you can do it early, because if you do have to sit your best guy, you might take some lickings. But as a coach, you gotta at that moment you gotta think it's not about the wins and losses at this moment. It's about what's beneficial for the team. And your best player, you want him out there. But there's a fine line between how he can cross it and not. And they all say the better players they get handled different, which can be true,
right,
depending on the situation. Because, for example, like, you know, a kid, that's not who he is, why he acting that way, type of thing. And then you sit him, talk about it, whatever. But the better kids, it's like it's easier, in my opinion, to handle it early, because if you let it go, you won't. It's hard to address it way later if you keep doing it. And then he's like 10 games in, like, what you tripping for now? I've been doing this, and I'm like. You're like, well, this just can't be done no more. Well, why? And then they got to go through that. So with the best players, like, you know, Kyrie, for example, if you're not going to listen, we might as well just don't play you. And then we'll go from there.
They should have traded him.
And that's just where we at with it. Like, I'm sorry, you're not doing what's best for us.
Bugging.
We got to do what's best for the team. And then you might not be successful, you know, whatever, but we got to keep going because it's not about you.
Right. Debo?
I'm taking the lickings because at the end of the day, we have to establish a culture.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because the culture is what's going to sustain you and sustain your program. Players will come and go, but the culture has to be the standard.
Facts.
I'll lose 50 games. I'll lose, you know, games by 50 if I have 10 kids that are going to do what I'm asking them to do, because we can develop that. We can build on that. We can't build with one guy wanting to do whatever he wants to do or having a terrible attitude. That actually happened to us this year. We had to kick our best player off after he had quit like 2 or 3 times. And finally, I just went to the head coach like, bro, we can't keep doing this. Like we're losing anyway. So, we have to pick a struggle here. We can't lose culture and lose game. We have to establish something. I get it. He's a new coach and, he wants to kind of cement himself in Oklahoma as one of the better coaches around here. But I'm like, and this kid was giving us like 20 a game. And it was tough to let him go. But, man, it got to the point where it wasn't even fun to come to work. Wow. You come in the gym and you just didn't know what he was going to be that day. So, when he left, when we kicked him off, we didn't win another game after that. But the vibe in the locker room was better. We knew the talent was down, but the vibe was better. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that's where you start to lay that foundation for what you want your culture to be, because we had a bunch of freshmen. And now they see, okay, well, if they didn't let him do it, surely I can't come in here and do it. You know what I'm saying? So now you've already sent a message for the future. So, yeah, I'm losing every game if I have to.
I feel like that's where, and not to but I feel like that's where almost, not to always, I don't mean to do this as a homer, but I feel like that's almost where OU basketball is. Like, we don't have a guy that you can immediately go to and say, that dude right there is going to get us 25 every game or 20 a game, or we can count on him to go and get us, consistently. That's our go-to scorer. But I feel like what Porter Moser is doing, like, is that culture, exactly what you guys talked about. Like, just hearing him in the conversation, also with our football coach too, Brendan Venables, just to hear what they're trying. Like, I'm not worried about what this guy's star is. I'm not worried about, this is what I did at JUCO. I don't care. When you walk through these doors, this is our program. This is a standard, and if you do not like it, that is the door. And I'm all in on both these coaches right now. But that's really awesome to hear. Like, just from like the high school and AAU level, you're like, listen, if I have to lose, I have to lose, because in this day and age, I'm sure with AAU, like, it might be different than like with high school, but like, you have the administration in your ear, you have other coaches in your ear, but I feel like you have parents in your ear. My son should be this, he's this, or he played like this, and so now you have. I'm trying to teach your son how to be a man. I'm trying to teach your son how one day this ain't gonna fly as a husband. This ain't gonna fly as a father.
Right.
And so you need to, you just shut up and listen. It's okay to do that sometimes. And so it's really awesome to hear you both say, I will take losses in a world where instant gratification is just always a thing.
Absolutely.
If we aren't winning, why fire the coach? Like, that's everybody's go-to, especially people who just don't know, like the casual fan. Like, again, I'm taking OU baseball, but for like OU, we don't look good right now. Everybody's like, fire the coach. Every person that they've ever interviewed in the past like 5 years that has played with this head coach, I'm a better player because of him. I learned so much because of him, and I apply that to my game going forward. Now I'm in the minors, or now I'm in the majors, and I'm just like, guys, what do you like? It's just, I feel like it's just such a lazy like fan reaction to say fire the coach.
No doubt.
Yeah. But just like the culture and the standard, like that's really, really awesome to hear you guys say.
Because if you look at the great coaches, they got time.
Yeah.
They got time, like 10, 15, 20, 30 years to be successful, because they had administration that supported them. They believed in what they was doing, and that's huge, because in college, obviously your job's on the line, wins and losses. In high school, wins and losses, depending on what school you're at, really don't dictate. They want you to be successful, but at the end of the day, want to see you build a program that's respectable within the state. So that your kids play hard, they do the right things, act the right way, that type of thing. So wins and losses ain't that big.
Right.
But then when you go to college, then they realize that coach has to win to keep his job. That's when things get a little different. But that's when it also gets a little more cutthroat, because they're like, look, son, we asked you to come here, but you don't got to be here. You can go home.
Right.
And there's a next guy up. In high school, a lot of times, you got your freshman class, whatever. A lot of times there's not a next guy up unless you're just willing to take those beatings. And in high school, we can't. But that's for strictly a learning purpose and a culture building purpose only.
I mean, I think Coach K's first couple years at Duke were losing.
That's what I was about to say.
No doubt. I think it was a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And now he's the winningest coach of all time.
Yeah.
Right. And I think he established the culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, Duke is known for certain things, and you know when you walk in the door what's expected of you. You know what I'm saying? And I think even in high schools, like, there are certain schools that will play, and I know, like, man, I know this coach. Like, Coach Price at Carl Albert.
Yeah.
You know what you're going to get when you play him.
Big
you know,
facts.
he's going to execute. His kids are going to play hard. They're going to be well coached. You know, they're going to have great attitudes. They're not going to beat themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you play Southeast, you know, they're going to be all over the floor. They're going to be up and in you defensively. Like, these programs have established culture.
Bishop
And I think
McGinnis. I can't
Well,
stand it.
Bishop
Not no more.
McGinnis is going
Not
to
no
lose
more?
that. Bishop McGinnis is going to lose that game.
I get
But
that.
the
Watch
thing
what I
is,
tell
for example, Price has been there a long time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Coach Brewer, who I played with his youngest son, been there a long
I
time.
played for Coach Brewer. So,
See what I'm
yeah.
saying? He's a long time. But the thing is, the administration believed in what he did, let him build his program, and now Southeast is known to be successful. Carl Albert's known to be successful. And you just got to give a coach time because it's hard, man. Like, especially in high school, you don't get to choose nobody.
Yeah.
So if we get a freshman class with a bunch of 5'7" kids and no one over 6 foot,
Right, yeah.
well, okay, what's the plan?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now you looking down at the younger grades, like where's the 6 footer at? And you might not be blessed with one. So as a coach, and that's the biggest challenge that I really enjoy about high school is, and we really got to get in there and figure it out as coaches. Like you sometimes got to go in with a 6'3" big man.
Right.
And say, we got to make him to be as dominant as possible against them 6'8" we're about to play this week. And that's where it's hard. So you got to come up with schemes, and we got to come up with, 1-3, just all kind of random things so that we're successful. In college, you might have 7 foot, 6'10", 6'8", and some guards.
Right, yeah.
You know what you're going to do.
Right.
Syracuse run 2-3 zone all time because they know they got all these monsters.
Yep.
We don't
See,
get that
that's-
luxury.
That's another thing. And I know we were
No,
NBA, but
We'll get back.
another thing between AAU and high school, like you said, sometimes you just have to take what you can get, and then you have to figure out, do we have to change the system? Do we have to run something different? Whereas in AAU, I can go pick the talented players that I want, but then my struggle becomes, how do I manage these egos? Because everybody needs the ball.
Right.
Everybody was the man on their team in high school, so now they come to an AAU team, and maybe you're not the best player on this team, so maybe I need you to defend, be a facilitator, a defender,
Right.
whatever. So it just, the different dynamics on each side, it's crazy how each coach has to adjust. But the good coaches figure it out.
Right.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Whether it's high school or AAU or NBA or college.
Yeah, we dealt with some of those. When we coached together briefly. We had some guards. I ain't gonna say full name,
Jabari,
but we had Barry. Barry was just
Your mom
hot-headed.
still don't talk to me, man. She still don't like me.
She tight.
Jabari like
She
to
love
Nah, that's the thing.
love me,
and I'm
though.
gonna say that she do love Tony.
Facts.
I would say Jabari, he is passionate, but sometimes his passion overwhelms his game. Like he gets so caught up in not being able to do this or trying to do this or trying to be what he once was on another team that it would sometimes fuck up his game. We have Rod. I ain't gonna say the full name, but Rod. Rod was the man, could handle the ball, could shoot threes. He was like 6 foot, handle the ball, could post up if we needed him to, but
Now he's a role player. on his
role
high school
player.
team.
We had Just. Just was an athlete, football player. Come down and he could finish somehow. Some God given way, he could finish at the rim and he could hit some shots sometimes. But I mean, shit, we'd walk into most tournaments. I think at that time, not many of them was 6 foot. They was 5'8", 5'9", and shit. Our big man was Damian. Damian was a quarterback. So, man, just a bunch of different.
Had to make do.
Yeah, had to. So,
said all that just to say Russ sucked.
Yeah, Russ should retire.
yeah.
I'm glad we took the long route, but he just sucked.
I was been waiting
Okay.
to circle around that because he sucks, bro. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I just don't feel like his game fits any team
It's frustrating.
at this moment.
It fit Brink.
agree.
Because
play for Brink.
name somebody else that play like him
He said
In
Brink.
what we're- in what
Brink,
we're-
middle school.
in the NBA right now. Name
I'm saying,
another.
like in what regard? Like who turnover high?
His
or
game.
impact? Okay.
Who can resemble his game?
I don't
Can't
know.
shoot very well. Can't shoot the midi. Don't shoot free throws well. I mean,
Ben Simmons?
What do we got?
Ben Simmons has acumen though.
And
he
his
has IQ.
IQ is out this world. He's a great passer.
He's a good defender too.
And Russ is what right now? What is Russ great at?
He play hard. That's what he
Payroll.
said.
He play hard.
He
That's
said
fair.
pay-
And defensive back, you are a fool.
I don't even think he plays defense well.
No, he did at
gets
all.
lost.
Nope.
He,
Yep.
he gambles a lot.
Yep.
He's very selfish defensively, in my opinion. He puts his teammates in very bad positions.
Yes.
And the crazy part about it, this was your favorite player like 24 months ago.
He's
12
one
months
of my
ago.
favorite players. It goes for me. It goes Kobe, Russ.
You
I
know-
just-
What?
No,
my.
I'm not
It's an
saying.
insult.
I'm
You
not
put
saying.
those two in the same breath.
I'm not
Oh,
saying
wow.
the greatest of all time. I'm saying the way they approach the game.
Okay.
Like,
But that's what I'm saying.
I can live
What
with
is
Ain't
there?
no way. Russ approached the game and suck.
no, I'm talking about.
That's what I'm like.
I get to
What's
it.
there to respect
Kobe
about the
approached
way he approached the
he gonna
game?
kill. Kobe killing.
Let me
He was a monster,
finish,
right.
man. Russ, I appreciate how they give their all to the game. Like, yes, Russ is a fuck up, and yes, his all might be fucking up the game.
But he's gonna
play full. Yeah, he's gonna play full speed.
Yeah,
he's out there trying every game. He's giving his best.
If you give your all, be honest with the team and say, "Let me sit down."
Thank
please.
you.
I get that. I get that, and I
What
think
is
his time's coming.
how is he benefiting the team right now?
He's
with
not
giving his all.
I'm not saying this Russ.
Can't confuse effort with achievement, bro.
Right,
Hey.
absolutely. And my thing was like Russ when he had nobody on the Thunder. He was still going out there busting his ass for 82 games, and he had Steven Adams as his number 2. And this is after Carmelo, after PG, or before they all came. It was just him, and he was going out there giving maximum effort, still getting the team into the playoffs.
He has a bonus. Come on, you better
Sabonis wasn't some bonus of now.
I don't
It's
want to hear.
amazing how those guys got better when they left Russ.
There was
PG,
a lot. It's a long list.
Sabonis,
Every player.
It started with James, and then it just kept getting bigger and bigger.
Oladipo.
Yeah.
Jeremy Grant,
So how
Reggie Jackson,
Oladipo
who
came
just
to the
busted
Thunder.
the Lakers a few nights ago.
Oladipo came to the Thunder and got fat.
No, wait, no, see, we don't have a lot of places to eat here too. Everything closes at 8 o'clock.
Kobe, hey, and then Oladipo only played all season, so I don't want to hear
And then he
God.
left, had a decent year, and then got hurt again.
it.
Y'all can't name another player playing this many grades besides LeBron.
Bro,
He didn't play with
sense.
James Harden,
Bro.
Kevin Durant,
Jesus.
LeBron James,
Serge
Anthony Davis,
Ibaka.
Paul George. This man done play with
Carmelo.
some good ass basketball
PG.
players
And
That
no
makes sense.
ring.
and not a damn ring.
Not even
That's
close.
see, that's what drives me crazy about like Thunder fans. You understand? There was no way. I'm surprised you won a game. There's zero reason why Oklahoma City like thinks that they should have won that finals against the Heat.
Boy,
What is
LeBron
that?
was-
There's no. First, there's too deep. First of all, KD was not the KD of today.
Russ is your point guard.
He actually hooped during them
But I
couple
watched,
games.
I watched the shop last night.
I haven't watched it yet. It's pretty good?
LeBron basically said like after that 2011, it was my fault. I wasn't losing again.
Yeah,
And so that's
real.
just what happened. And the fact that
real.
he took all blame for it, you know, you can respect that.
Yeah.
But he did proceed to lose again at some point.
to the one of the best games ever. Yeah.
Team that would have
if we want
swept
to
the
talk about it,
Bulls.
let's talk about it.
They would have swept the Bulls back in the day. Easy money.
All right. If y'all want to get to it,
know
still
about
gotta get
keeping
to
it
the
above.
West.
About sweeping the Bulls.
Let me knock the West
What were
out.
they gonna do?
You can't sweep.
They were just gonna. This is what they. Oh, they play harder. They play harder deep. No, they didn't. They just hit you
Who
hard.
are we talking about?
They fouled
Who you talking about?
Who are we
The Bulls?
Every single player on the damn Bulls.
No,
Dennis
that's not
Rodman
true.
was snorting coke, showing up the next day. You had Scottie Pippen couldn't feed his family; his contract was too small, and Michael Jordan. And we talking about their structure. Phil Jackson, the reason why. I don't care what no one
I'm saying,
tells
who
me.
are we talking about sweeping the Bulls?
The Warriors.
Hold on, did you just say
What were they gonna do
Okay,
about
yeah, yeah.
they won?
Steph would have passed half court
Did
busted.
he
What was he
see
gonna
Phil
do?
Jackson coach in New York? He won like
Thank
3
you.
games.
That's what I
I
was.
thought he was a
Like,
GM.
it's not.
No,
he
he was the
started
coach.
coaching.
Did he
first.
coach the Lakers
Okay.
too and win 3?
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah, I can
No, he's
win.
the
I
most-
can coach Kobe and Shaq to a ring.
He's never had a losing season.
Oh,
Phil Jackson.
I'm just saying.
Supposedly.
I feel like him and Michael Jordan complimented each
Michael
other. Don't
Jordan
get me wrong,
said
but I'm
that's
just-
the reason why they turned it around. That's what he
what
said in his
was Phil
documentary.
Jackson?
Yeah.
If you
No
walk,
question.
if you walk into practice, everybody meditating, doing yoga. What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
You know,
Like that's
true.
the reason they
But
won.
I think Jordan has to say that. Like, you can't say, hey, man, it was just me. You know, I just got better.
Right.
You know, I got tired of taking my lumps. He took his lumps like every other star had to. You know what I'm saying? He had to kind of learn how to win. I don't think you just say Phil was the difference. Because, I mean, as a coach, I tell kids all the time, I can't win unless I have players. I don't shoot a shot. I don't
Facts.
go out there and make a play. You know, I think coaching comes into play out of timeouts, scouting report, you know, things like that. But when it comes to just,
Players got to play.
players got to make
Yeah,
it.
but
He
something
tried
like
to
that.
go
But
over
then he got Scotty, right?
and Dennis Rodman.
Well, Scotty developed.
Yeah, which is fair.
Yeah.
But when
Yep.
Phil got there, Scotty got there, the
Yep.
system made sense.
Exactly.
But-
So
It
they
did.
made Scotty successful with playing with Jordan because I feel like not many people was going to have the career Scotty did with Jordan as the main guy. Like he might have
Agreed.
been the best Robin at that time in that era.
Yeah.
But like
I
you
think
said
the
earlier,
best thing Phil did was he let Scotty run the one.
Yeah.
Like, and facilitate the offense. I think that suited Scotty's abilities. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
and not any coach can manage those egos though.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what
I
I'm
will
trying
give
to
you
get
that.
onto that. Is
I'll give you that,
Phil
yeah.
Jackson was able to manage the egos. Then Kobe and Shaq.
That's a
like,
lot.
I get what
Yeah.
y'all saying. You
You're
can
right.
coach those players. It's
won't
easy.
argue
They
that.
can go
Yeah.
get money.
Yeah.
But
You think about it. Who was else going to coach Michael Jordan?
That's what I'm saying.
He was
Yeah.
at that time. He was essentially Jesus
Bro,
on
he
earth.
was punking the
Yeah.
owner.
You see-
Yeah, bro, like-
like I'm gonna leave if you don't fix it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I won't argue that at all.
He talking
because
he
that's
fat
tough.
and whatnot, bro. What? Who are you, Jordan? You can't say that, but Jordan did. Ain't no problem. LeBron said it'll blow up, and no, he hates Rob Pelinka.
It's social media though. That's the only difference.
First of all, can you imagine if Michael Jordan had a TikTok or an Instagram or a Twitter, bro?
Back in the day,
Dear God,
he had like 1 trillion followers.
Boy, he been at the casino every night going live.
I feel like he'd been in a lot more trouble too.
Here's another argument. Can you imagine if Michael Jordan controlled his free agency like LeBron did?
Why would you? Well, he wouldn't have left though.
But I'm saying, if I can say, hey, go get me Karl Malone.
Oh, okay, yeah, I got
go
you.
get me, you know, I don't know, whoever, whatever great point guard was around at that time. Go get me those guys. Just imagine if Jordan tried to control his free agency narrative the way, and I'm not knocking LeBron for it because I think that's just a new age player, but that's often what I tell people is people talk about Scottie was a top 50 player of all time, which he was. But people don't understand Scottie wasn't that his first 4 years, So it's a little different when you develop that. And Scottie, before he started talking crazy, said that he became the player he was because of Jordan.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Yeah, so I just think, I don't know. I'm a diehard.
And the thing
Jordan
is, like,
fan,
the Jordan fan, that's why I tell people all the time, Jordan, he made them create the team that was going to be successful for him.
Exactly.
He was going to tell them this is and they start to see, you need somebody. We don't need nobody else to really shoot. We need somebody to rebound, play defense for us, and to help you be a slasher.
Yeah.
So you got the greatest pieces you could get for him. Dennis Rodman, greatest rebounder all time. You had Scottie, who's one of the best defenders in that era. Jordan, you had a feasible point guard who was just going to run the plays, and that's just what it was. And then you had a big man that could just get some stops and make a layup. LeBron was in Miami. We were in Cleveland for 8 years.
I think that's the biggest chunk there. Not to cut you off, but that's the biggest chunk right there. It's hard to argue against LeBron right there. I'm confused as to what is LeBron supposed to do with any of that?
Stay with Boobie Gibson.
Come on.
I'm just like,
but do we really believe LeBron didn't have any say so in those pieces being in Cleveland?
I don't think so much you could do. You think that's the pieces he would want?
I mean, I think he was instrumental in bringing Mo Williams there.
Okay, but we're talking about Mo Williams here.
Yeah, who
Mo Williams wasn't getting buckets.
Mo was nice.
He fell off.
Mo was,
but he was in some all-star conversations before he got to Cleveland.
But if that's his second option,
you see what I'm saying?
That's not the greatest second
where Kobe
option.
Bryant is on the western side with like Shaquille O'Neal.
Or you got the Boston Celtics with the juggernauts they were.
And like he said, though, with the free agency being able to manage, I think before LeBron, there wasn't really a person that
did
like that. Yeah, that could just say, go get me that. And he was still molding into that player where it's like, go get me that. He had to go to Miami and come back. Well, they already had Kyrie because they sucked ass, so they were able to draft him. But it's like, go get me Kevin Love. Go get me J.R. Smith. Those different things. So I think he was the first one that was able to just say, hey, go give me that shit or I'll bounce out again.
Like if there was one person that did it back in the 90s, it would have been Jordan.
For sure.
If you felt like you needed that.
And he did a little bit because it was reported that Dennis Rodman wasn't going on that team unless it was signed off by one Michael Jordan. You see what I'm saying?
I think Phil asked Michael Jordan how did he feel about Dennis coming there. I think Phil wanted him, but he just wanted to make sure it was cool with Jordan. But I mean, as great as Rodman was,
if Mike Brown was to ask me,
dear
anything,
God,
I'd tell him shut up.
Your resume for starters.
Mike Brown.
Go ahead. What's wrong with Mike Brown?
Mike Brown. He said Phil Jackson. Ask Jordan. Mike Brown, don't ask me nothing.
Not a damn thing.
Mike Brown, head coach.
Mike Brown was asked.
And then David Black, come talk to me about your collect. Hang up.
What you mean, David Black?
Mike Brown was good.
no.
No.
And then he played with Black.
Yep.
And
Black
then,
got fired the year after winning the championship.
Come on now.
Black got fired with a winning record. That was crazy to me.
And then Spoelstra. Now he's classified as top 15 coach all time. And I'm like,
who says that?
That's what
He was voted as that.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm seriously didn't know. I'm being dead.
And obviously now that Miami's turned it around for sure.
Right.
But when he got LeBron, he was successful, all that. But if you look at it, that's LeBron's best coach that he ever played for.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Tyronn
Lue.
Tyronn Lue.
Tyronn Lue ain't bad.
I was joking.
Tyronn Lue
He's doing good at the Clippers right now. He's doing good at the Clippers, I'm hearing.
I like Tyronn.
But
That's nice.
The Clippers.
So let me get with
their
the Western
record ain't.
Conference.
But
real quick.
Tyronn Lue for doing what he's doing with that team. Come on now. Don't act like that.
Let me get to the Western Conference really, really quick. We got the Phoenix Suns in first place.
Championship.
We have the Golden State Warriors in second, 8 games behind. We have the Memphis Grizzlies 8 games behind. We have the Utah Jazz at fourth.
So Memphis is number 3.
I did not realize they were so high.
They're tied with They're
That's
tied
wild.
with the
This
Golden
is,
State.
I think that's why, and not to cut you, I think Josh should get the MVP though. I ain't gonna lie to
a
you.
chance.
This remind me of Derrick Rose year, for real. When the Bulls was number 1, 2
That's a
in the
good comp.
East,
That is.
and he was getting a bucket against everybody. You might have to give it to him.
That's a fact.
That's crazy. I mean, he ain't the only one on the team,
No,
but the way he playing,
No, he's going
They're
dumb.
tied for second.
they got drug testing for real every game.
Donovan Mitchell. Well, I say Donovan Mitchell. The Utah Jazz are tied at 4th. Or they're at 4th, 10.5 games.
I need
behind.
somebody to explain that to me. Why is Utah always in there?
I have
Carmelo
no faith in them.
is the reason why they got bad.
They're
Carmelo.
always right there, 3, 4,
Because of
and,
Rudy
and
Gobert.
never do anything.
But how?
Because of Rudy Gobert, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, or whatever.
So you telling me his defense just makes the team fantastic?
No, I'm bullshit.
Donovan Mitchell gets to it. I saw that.
Who's the other players?
And Joe
now?
Ingles was.
Well,
Bogdanovich.
you have Mike Conley over there too, but he's hurt right now.
He's 49 years old.
But he can still get to it.
He's not 49.
He's not that
Bro,
old.
you was weird for that, bro. He's not 49.
But I mean, if we're going to talk about systems, then you got to
Yeah.
talk about Quinn Snyder's system.
That's
He put
true.
in there
Hell
to
yeah.
Put all those shooters around, you know, Donovan Mitchell and
Joe
Rudy
Ingles be
Gobert.
letting it fly. Don't look good at all, but it's cash money every time he
Him
lets it
and
fly.
Bogdanovich, boy, they might
Yes.
fuck around and go off
That's-
6,
I'm
7
sa- you
threes.
see what I'm saying?
Well, when they run that screen and roll, you know, you can't help off of anybody, so it's hard to tag the roller. So you're either giving up a dunk or you're giving up a 3-point shot. So, you know, I think Quinn Snyder
that
put
is
in a
true.
really
And
good
Jordan
system.
Clarkson is nice.
Yes, he is.
He is.
Clarkson is nice.
Yep.
6th
He
man
is.
of the year.
But one thing
Hey,
about the
Lindy
Jazz,
Waters
though,
beat that the other day. Pause.
Okay.
Pause.
one that's messed up, I think, like the two or teams that are going to be just not known for nothing is the Trailblazers and the Jazz. They gonna always be them teams that got closer. They're good.
Oh, yeah.
Ain't nothing gonna happen.
That's a damn shame.
Because think about it, was some two good teams at one point. And I mean, Jazz still, but like, who worried about the Jazz?
He said he
Nobody.
ain't worried about the Jazz.
Yeah.
Even their history says that from the 90s, you know, when they had their opportunities.
John Stockton?
He's a bum.
Yeah, but I mean,
John Morant would give him 60 in the first half.
Who?
John Stockton.
John who? Come on, bro.
Look, here you go.
And Karl Malone was
no,
dating.
I agree with
Man,
that.
let me not get started on Karl
I
Malone.
argued
bro.
with Pops the other day about that.
About what?
He said John Stockton and CP3 same.
At what?
Hey,
Man, they was playing teachers and janitors, bro. Karl Malone was dating 13-year-old girls, bro. He can't even be talked about on NBA TV. What are we talking about
I
here?
don't even know what's going on.
I don't
Are we really going to minimize the
You see what I'm
league
saying?
like that back then? That's what we're doing.
It was nothing but janitors coming on the floor. They say, hit the best player the hardest. Just hit him hard. That's all it was. Hey, the Detroit Pistons. I'm like, bro, y'all play football. You play basketball now. They don't just tackle everybody.
Before we continue, I gotta let this go because I don't know if Deangelo's been updated on the podcast. Give him your take on Will Chamberlain,
No.
Bill Russell,
no.
and
Kareem. Kareem is the worst basketball player ever to exist. You put him into, I'm not even joking either. It's funny, y'all
wow.
think I'm trolling. You put him in today's age, they getting a bucket on
He
him.
better than Rudy Gobert?
They about the same. But who cares about Rudy Gobert?
Rudy
He hate-
Gobert is
he
an
hate-
all-star
he hate
in this
Utah.
league.
Have y'all seen him play?
He's an all-star in this league.
He's better than
like,
Jared Allen.
hold on.
He's a max contract guy in this NBA.
He's better than
Can I give you like this?
Yes.
JaVale McGee, Walmart. Him, Target. They just that close.
And
But you
they're both
got
cleaning up in today's NBA.
But you got food stamps at Walmart. You got the high fashion white people at Target. That's all it is. It's just a little prettier. You put Rudy Gobert in the
I'll
other
take
team.
either one of them for the Lakers right now.
Of course.
You really compared Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to JaVale McGee?
When I watch Rudy
loves
Gobert
JaVale
play,
McGee. He loves
and I see
JaVale
how
McGee.
it's just like he clumsy, but not all the way there yet. A few more years, he's JaVale McGee. Shaq in the fool every episode, all that. I mean, I'm talking about it's going to be bad.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the league's all-time leading scorer.
Yes.
Second.
He was scoring against, what,
No, he's still up there right
6 foot white boys and hitting a little hook. Ain't nobody worried about that hook. That's getting swatted. Jared Allen's swatting that.
Who's blocking that?
Jared,
Is he 7 foot?
I'll take Jared
That may
Allen
be
right
the
now
most
swapping that.
unstoppable move
Yeah,
ever
I
in
would
league
have-
history.
I'll take Jared Allen right now swapping that.
He
now.
said,
Go figure though.
he said because nobody was 7 foot like that back then. That's why. Now everybody's 7 foot.
My take is
Okay.
these players get a pass, and I'm not trying. I'm being dead serious because they got called racial slurs a lot, and they had to go through a lot to play. But that's about it. They didn't do nothing special. Like,
Like,
they came to today's league and got done in.
he scored a lot
I mean,
of
we're,
points.
we're talking about
Against
Kareem scoring
janitors.
these points with no floor spacing at all. Like every shot was contested in a crowd. They didn't have the spacing that you have today. Like freedom of movement wasn't a thing back then. People could do whatever they wanted to you outside of felonious assault. And this guy was effective. I mean, like, come on, man. If I can play one-on-one, I can be effective, which is essentially what they're doing today.
Yeah.
Like Giannis is a hell of a player. He's probably the least skilled player I've ever seen, if we're being real.
Zion.
Whoa.
Okay.
Maybe. Okay,
Zion.
let's get to that point then. Do you think? Because I know who said that Giannis wouldn't last back in the day.
He would last. Charles Oakley's an
Charles said
idiot
it.
for saying that.
But you agree he last back in the day.
Absolutely. I agree.
But that's why I feel like even AI said like the game has evolved so much and these players are so good now. Just thinking them back in the day, I feel like they would have dominated.
But
like I feel like back then you didn't have that much to look at. Like I hate to say that skill wise, but like that's what I'm talking about. We talking about just one skyhook. You got Joel Embiid coming at the three hitting step backs.
He did though.
But is today's NBA really that skilled though?
When you see Kyrie Irving,
I think you have bigger players who can do more things.
Okay.
But like I said, it's more spacing. That's what people are not taking into account. And then, like I said, the freedom of movement. Back then, we could crowd the paint, we could hand check you, things like that. Imagine Jordan being able to play one-on-one every possession. That's 40 easily.
Probably in the first half.
That's an easy 40. Give him the spacing that you give these other guys. You couldn't do that back then.
But why are you getting the spacing now? That's the only.
He's torturing Kawhi.
The thing is, the only reason they're spacing in the league now is because they can shoot a lot more.
I was about to say, you got Steph.
But that's what I'm saying. That shows the league has evolved. That you have to give space because everybody's good.
That benefit the offense now.
Because of Michael Jordan.
That's fair.
Come on.
I mean, you want to say that?
You had to. They say you're trying to save it.
They damn near murdered him. They had to figure out something.
That's true.
But even then, you could still hand check. You just couldn't ride them with it. Now you can't even.
Yeah, that I agree.
You can't do anything now.
I hate that.
I mean, I'm looking at guys like James Harden. I watched him go for 30 or 41 game, and he shot like 28 free throws.
It's bad. Nick.
Yeah, that's bad.
That's bad.
Like, come on, man. I'm just saying.
They don't do that for LeBron, though. Let's talk about it.
You're not seeing any unicorns like you saw with, KD. Like, yeah, you're not seeing that. But I just think people say the skill wasn't there. For you to get 30 a game back then, that was impressive because, for one, the emphasis wasn't on the three-point shot. You didn't have the freedom to shoot that. If you shot 10, 11 a game, that was a lot back then. Mm-hmm. Now you got individual players shooting that.
12 threes.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, just imagine people say, oh, Jordan couldn't shoot the three. I think people have to understand the difference between can't and couldn't. Like he wasn't able because of the offense and the emphasis wasn't on the 3-point shot. He wasn't allowed to take those types of shots.
I mean, it was a big deal whenever he hit 6 threes over Clyde the Glide in the first half.
Right.
And everybody was like, oh my God, it's 6 threes. And they were like, it's a big deal. Now you're like, if Steph doesn't hit that, it was a bad game.
Yeah.
So let me finish off real quick with these. Denver is number 6, and that's finishing the playoff teams currently, and they're 13 games behind. Number 7, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves. They're 15 and a half games behind. At number 8, we have the Los Angeles Clippers that are 18 games behind. After that, we have the Los Angeles Lakers at 9, 22 and a half games behind. And at number 10, we have the New Orleans Pelicans, 24 games behind.
Boo.
It's a shame Jeannie Buzz be sitting there watching them games. I'll be like, I'll be wanting to say, get your ass up, go do something. Rob Pelinka, all of them, bro. I'm like, this is pathetic.
It's
pathetic.
such a joke.
To be in Los Angeles and then be losing like that.
That's true.
LA
Let me
just
ask
doesn't
this
care.
really quick.
What's good?
Who's your Final Four in the West?
It depends on CP3. Is CP3 coming back?
Yes, I'm sure.
So Phoenix, Golden State, Memphis, and you know me, I got Robert Brown. I just got to.
So you got the Lakers pulling it out.
I got to Robert Brown.
Okay, Alex.
Hell, you smoking?
I'm just I got to. It's just LeBron. I hope for it because imagine how great of a story that'd be.
It'd be cool.
Be that shitty and win the ring.
You want me to see Russ Westbrook in the playoffs?
No,
Hell no.
I didn't say Russ. Did you hear me say Russ?
I'm just saying.
I said LeBron.
He gonna be on the.
I didn't even say the Lakers. You heard it? I didn't even say the Lakers. All right.
Alex, who you got?
I do the Suns, the Warriors. I like Memphis too. And then name some more for me. I'm trying to
Utah, Dallas, Denver, Minnesota, Clippers.
Jamal Murray, is he coming back?
He's supposed to in the playoffs, I think.
Yeah, I think he was.
I'll take them there.
The Nuggets.
Just Jokic, just the way he be. I'll take it.
Who you got, Billy O?
Yeah, I got Denver, Phoenix, Golden State, and I'll take. Give me. I'm gonna shake it up a little bit. I'll take Utah in there.
Come on.
Oh, okay. We got.
Why would you do that?
Debo.
I'm taking Phoenix, Golden State, Memphis, and give me Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Oh, that's a
Anthony
Edwards. Anthony Edwards.
Hey, yo, he is cold.
He's tough.
He's cold. So give me. Let me hear why you selected Minnesota because obviously that's not going to be amongst popular opinion.
I just think they can score the ball, and that's that's always dangerous in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? When possessions are at a minimum, you know, the game slows down. I think they have guys that can get their own shot in the half court. Karl Anthony Towns is a complete mismatch. So, plus, just figure why not? Why not go out on a limb?
I like that.
Okay, let's go around with the East really quick. Who
So
you
I ain't
got?
got on the limb with the Lakers? Come on.
You did, but
You
I
definitely
mean,
went
it's
out on a
LeBron.
limb with
It's
that.
LeBron, so it's like it's hard to not. But I mean, the nigga took Cleveland to the finals.
Is there a timetable on Anthony Davis?
Does it matter?
He's gonna get hurt again.
As soon as he come back, he will get hurt.
Oh, are we
Who
doing him
cares,
like
bro?
that?
He need a man.
Would you rather take a banged up AD or no AD at all?
No AD at all.
No AD at all.
He be
Okay.
out there useless, 7
Wasting
foot,
space, not playing
standing around.
defense, can't rebound.
You take him over Zion right now?
all day.
Oh my goodness, Debo, let me get your East call out. Who you got in the Final Four?
I got Philly, Chicago.
I'll give you one. I
Milwaukee.
respect you the fact you're a Chicago diehard. I respect that.
Are you a Cubs fan? Do you watch baseball?
I'm not a Cubs fan.
That's fair.
You see
I
the color of
respect
his skin? How many niggas you see watching baseball?
A lot. What are you talking? A lot.
Don't watch that cheating ass sporting.
Hold on. Hold on.
Then my
Let him
fourth,
finish. Let him finish.
Okay.
Go ahead. So you said Philly,
Chicago.
Chicago, and who?
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
Give me the Nets if they get Ben Simmons back.
Oh, okay.
What is it about Ben Simmons you think? Because these people don't believe it. I really think Ben Simmons come back be efficient and can help the team, but
That's
they don't
not.
believe it.
No, that's not what he said
better
at all.
play the five.
I feel like he's gonna be able to shoot as well.
That right there.
Oh, okay.
Okay. See,
But y'all acting like he didn't matter though.
I didn't say he don't believe
I don't
it.
think he'll be able to do that, but I just think he fits Kyrie and KD perfectly. Like,
agree.
He's trying to get those guys the ball. Another team you can't sleep on is Boston. They're putting it together.
I was gonna say them too.
They are figuring it out.
Yeah, like, they started out horribly, and now they put themselves in the mix. So.
And Jason Tatum's growing into his own for sure.
I feel
Billy,
like Jaylen Brown just don't get talked about. Am I tripping?
He had a big game a couple of times, but
He had a big shot last night.
yeah.
But like, do y'all think they're gonna stay together? Stay having them together?
Jason Tatum said in the podcast he just did on JJ Redick the other day that he believes they should stay together.
How many years y'all think they got left? I'm not.
I mean,
I know they're young.
mad young.
I
so
know, but like, I first a lot of expectations on.
I'd probably give it 3.
Okay, I was just wondering from y'all point of view what it was.
they're gonna keep cycling. I mean, shit. If they're gonna keep Marcus Smart, I'm an Oklahoma State fan. You better keep Jaylen Brown. That's all I'm saying.
Trash.
Go ahead, Billy Earl.
I'll take the 2 through 5 and get rid of the top seed Miami. So I'll go Philly, Milwaukee, Chicago, and Boston.
Okay.
I honestly do the same.
Okay.
Probably yeah. I'll take it.
Tone.
Let me get the Celtics, the 76ers, the Cavs,
Ooh, shit.
You know,
Okay.
you're joking on that.
and the Nets.
Jared
The
Allen
funny thing
playing.
about it is the Cavs are playing really well.
They were. Jared Allen got hurt.
Well, he just got hurt, but they're playing really, really, really well. And I'm like, just from Cleveland standpoint, they've been so bad for so long. I'm like, let's just, I give them some hope.
I know they're not. In the same.
I don't like Chicago because I'm not a DeMar DeRozan fan, but my boy Caruso's out, and then I think Lonzo Ball's out too, right? And so it's just like until they get those guys back, they won't be the firepower that they were.
You
I
choose
think
Memphis
Zach
over
Levine
them,
is
would you?
out too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Jesus.
it was. I think so.
I know they're not in the same conference, but you had to choose. You choose. God damn, I went Memphis over them.
Over who?
Cavaliers.
Yeah,
They was the meat.
no doubt. I'm
Okay.
taking Memphis sweet.
I just can't believe you put them like Cavaliers in the top.
I mean,
that's not
I
the
just
same
can't believe they're
conference. but still.
even up here to be looked at.
Okay, that's facts. That's facts.
Okay. I'll get that to y'all. So, real quick before we get up out of here, I want each of y'all to get one player in your brain that you believe is an underappreciated player. Someone that may not get all the glory, someone that's, kind of like maybe a backseat type of player. And just ponder on that really quick. Because who was it that I was thinking of? Actually, it was your guy, DeMar DeRozan.
That's what I was about to say,
Okay.
actually.
DeMar DeRozan, in my opinion, because I thought it was kind of cool. Obviously, he was in Toronto. He had to go up against Bron. That's tough to do, And then you go to San Antonio, where everybody kind of thought he just fell off and he was going to be done, and he kind of washed. And then he goes to Chicago, finds his resurgence. And obviously, DeMar DeRozan's never really, outside of kind of like his first few years in Toronto, like been that big of a deal, and kind of dropped down, and now he's finally coming back to that forefront. So I just want to give DeMar DeRozan his flowers. Obviously he's had to go through some shit, because you would think in a Coach Popovich system he would flourish, obviously, because he's not a 3-point shooter. He's a midi guy, but that's somebody I would pick. Debo, you can go on that if that's your guy.
Yeah, I was gonna go DeMar DeRozan. I think for somebody to get the production that he gets when you know what he's gonna do, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know where he's gonna be, and he just night in, night out just finds a way to produce. And you know, for in a league where it's just 3-point shooting or layups, you know what I'm saying? For a guy to still have an old school type of game. And like I said, everybody knows DeMar wants to get to the elbows and stuff, man. He still gets there and he makes it happen, especially without Alonzo Ball, without Zach LaVine. He's the focus now. I mean, yeah, getting Kobe White back helps, but, you know, they're keying in on him and he's still able to do it. And to me, he got a lot of unfair blame in Toronto for their shortcomings. You know, him and Kyle Lowry and everybody talked about, you know, how they didn't produce as well, you know, in the playoffs or whatever. And I'll stand behind this 100%, man. I think every young star in the league has to learn how to win. Like, very few guys come in and just win. I can't remember a young guy doing that since, like, Magic. Maybe I'm missing somebody, but he's the only young guy that was a star that I can remember that came in and just won right away. So I think DeMar, I don't know if this year is his year, but I think people can now appreciate what he is, you know? Because in Toronto, it was him and Kyle Lowry. Then when he went to San Antonio, he had some productive years, but everybody's like, oh, everybody produces under Pop. Now he comes to Chicago. People thought he was washed up. Yeah. People thought there was a bad signing for Chicago, and he's proven everybody wrong. So
I was one of those people.
Chicago built a great roster.
Honestly, because I did not see him doing that shit. Yeah. So anybody else? Anybody got somebody in mind? Anybody thought of a player?
I honestly would probably say Kyle Kuzma, honestly.
Kuzma. So, bro, don't try to hop on the Kuzma.
I'm just being honest. Now he said that, I'm looking at the teams. I'm like, at their second guys are, you know, like Chris Middleton, you know, Jaylen Brown, Darius Garland, you know, and it's just, you know, LaMelo. You just know. But then you look at the Wizards, and I'm like, last year they sucked. They get his boyfriend, and all of a sudden they're all right.
And
he's playing well. Like, that's one thing. Alex been right about one thing since we've been doing this podcast.
Two things.
What's the other one?
Giddy.
That's not a good one. But Kyle Kuzma.
Funny, because like a year from now, he's gonna be. You know what? Josh Giddey, Alex was right.
I'll take that. Don't like Josh Giddey.
So you got Kuzma.
Yeah, that's unreal.
Alex, who do you got?
I'm gonna say Josh Giddey.
1000%.
Josh Giddey.
I was gonna say Giddey or Anthony Simons.
I think
Anthony, you love Anthony.
He could be solid. I think he's great.
What team is he on?
Blazers.
Portland.
Oh yeah, I watched some clips of the nigga the other day. That nigga can hold.
I take Trey Mann.
Trey Mann too.
I take
Trey. Well, I say, and only reason I say Giddey, I feel like people outside Oklahoma probably don't really think Giddey.
No, they don't acknowledge him.
Rightly so.
Okay. Billy Earl,
here rookie.
You got Anthony.
Yeah.
Speak on
Josh Giddey.
Why? I've seen him. The young man can ball.
Yeah.
He came straight out of high school and went to like the G League or something.
I believe so.
He didn't even go play college.
He was in the bubble too, if I'm not mistaken, because there was a lot of talk there. But just with you know, shipping out the whole team basically, like he's still hooping, still there, still young, and I feel like now you can hone in on just this is the person that I can look up to, and Damian Lillard. At least, you know, score, distribute the basketball. I think he's going to be pretty good in the next few years, especially if Portland does like part ways with Dame. So I like his game.
LA, here we come.
Right.
I think that's the reason why CJ became kind of expendable because of his emergence.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me go around the table a couple more times. Most improved player. I'm going with Miles Bridges. I feel like he turned down that bag, and he's been producing fairly well. He's had some 25-point games, some 30 balls. Shooting the 3-ball fairly well. Obviously, he can rebound and is very athletic, but I think he's starting to use his size more so the way that he needs to. It's not just go catch oops all the time. It's learning how to. A lot of people, in my opinion, when they have size, they just run at people and they don't know how to. They don't know footwork. They don't know how to use angles. It's just like, I'm going to out-physical you to this point, and if I don't, then I'm going to just have to kick it out. So, you know, I think he turned down that bag from Charlotte and to try to set him up for a $100 million deal, and I think he's somewhat accomplished that. Anybody got a most improved player this year?
I think DeMar DeRozan.
DeMar? You got DeMar?
I go with Darius Garland.
Darius Garland.
I was going to go.
No lie, dude. Like, my boy John, he's in our group message, and he is a player development coach for the Pistons. And he loves him. Like, he been arguing him all year with us in the group, like he better than Trae Young. And I'm like, that's tough. Trey's being great, but Darius is right there. And I mean, his numbers is there, his productivity's there, his team's winning. I mean, what else could you ask for? Last year they wasn't too much, and then now he getting busy. So I give it to
Why they
him.
shipped Sexton out, because of his emergence.
Yeah.
That's true. Billy Earl, who you got?
I don't think I'm supposed to say this, but I like RJ and Julius look a lot better than what I thought they would. Even though the Knicks are not great.
RJ surprised me.
Yeah, for sure.
I thought he was gonna kind of be just some mid.
I thought he was great at Duke, but then this is his second year, right?
Yes.
Yeah, last year, I'm just top of my head, I don't recall him going off as much as he has like this season.
Derrick Rose did a lot of that.
Yeah, and then now you're like, whoa! Like every time I turn the TV, like I think against the Lakers, he killed it, and then a few nights ago, he
Miami
killed
too.
it. I was like, shit, this is RJ. So I don't like the Knicks. And I hate New York, but I think he's playing pretty well.
Yankee, stand up.
Who you thinking?
Darius Garland.
Darius Garland?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. I think he's, I won't say the sole reason for the turnaround in Cleveland, but I mean, who's playing better? I think, getting Markin in helped a lot, and obviously drafting Mobley, but that kid, he wasn't a first round pick, was he?
I'm not sure.
I mean, how long has he been in the league? That's all.
3 years?
I think this is his third year, but I don't remember him getting drafted.
He did. I was wondering who the hell he was when he did
Okay.
get drafted.
Now,
I
was
like,
he out of USC or where is he out of? That's
it's
Mobley
a
out
small
of
school.
USC.
It's not a small school, but it's not one of the more recognized schools. I don't know. It's like a Vanderbilt, Georgia Tech type shit.
He was a 5th overall pick.
Vanderbilt.
He was the
overall pick.
5th overall pick?
That's why John knew him, right?
That's exactly
That
why. I
makes
didn't
sense.
realize that.
I thought that.
My boy John played at Vanderbilt.
Okay.
That's why he knew him.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt. 5th
Would it be
overall pick.
disrespectful to DeMar DeRozan won it?
Wow.
On what?
So
The
this
most
kid
improved
came
player.
out of Vanderbilt and
Nah.
playing like that? Oh, well, I would take him.
Okay. So now, seeing what we've seen, everything that's gone on so far, we've got most of the season behind us and going to see what's kind of come about, who's the top teams.
What you looking at?
Give me your finals picks right here. I mean, now that we've seen a little bit further, obviously we do this every now and then on the episodes.
The
Give me-
final?
Yeah, give me who you got in the NBA finals this NBA season.
Suns and Brooklyn.
Suns in Brooklyn. Alex,
Same.
Suns in Brooklyn.
The Warriors and the Sixers.
Warriors and the Sixers.
I like that.
I got Suns in Philly.
I got Memphis and Milwaukee.
Definitely not the Phillies.
Fuck, go and watch that. Who wants to watch that shit?
What? Who was it?
Memphis and Milwaukee.
The fuck?
God.
It's
John
not that
Morant,
you
of
want to
course.
see it.
Why would
Nobody
you
wanted
pick
to see Milwaukee
bro?
win.
You see how boring that was last year watching Milwaukee?
It won games. It still won games.
I understand, but it's it's like watching Alabama football. It's boring.
John Morant in the playoffs would be nice though in the finals.
You're right,
but the
put
other
him
side,
put him
I'm
against
not.
somebody like
The 76ers.
the Nets. Someone that's fun to watch.
I think if they played the Nets or the 76ers,
Chris
they'd get
Middleton's too
blown out.
ugly, bro.
That'd be the least watched NBA finals in history.
Two small markets.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah,
Debo,
Tacumbo out
who'd
there.
you say?
I like it.
Memphis and Milwaukee.
I like it.
Okay.
You watching that?
I watched the
I
Suns
would watch
in
it
Milwaukee.
for Ja.
Yeah, Ja, obviously.
Right, yeah.
Only reason everybody watched the Suns versus Milwaukee is because they wanted CP3 to win that thing.
I can't
I
disagree.
agree.
That's it.
I think they wanted to see if Milwaukee could win one, though.
Well, I didn't care.
Well, I get that. Who was their last great player? What was it?
Who?
Was it Kareem or somebody or some?
Milwaukee's
I mean, he ain't even great.
Milwaukee.
So I don't know what.
Ray Allen or something?
Yeah,
maybe? I
Milwaukee.
don't know.
Yeah. But
Bron.
what? No, what was
Glenn
the last
Robinson.
time they won an NBA championship 50 years before? Who was that?
Oh, Oscar
They won the
Robertson
championship
and
before?
Lou Alcindor.
Oh, okay. See, I thought Kareem or
See,
somebody was on.
his
the
age
team.
Kareem
different. I
is
don't
Lou
even know.
Alcindor.
Oh, okay.
They just need to shut down Milwaukee, Utah, all them. Just move them
Oh,
somewhere
wow.
else.
Well, man, I don't have nothing much else.
Just nothing
man.
racist
Yeah,
fans,
he's-
boring basketball.
He
Ain't nobody
was
watching
going left.
He had
Ain't
Utah.
nobody watching that shit. I hate Utah. Hate them.
DJ, did you watch any of the combine?
Yes.
Did
Shout
you
out to
see-
Jordan Davis.
Talking about the
Don't
Georgia
even feel
guy?
bad. Don't even feel bad. Last championship, just scratch that right off your head. Don't even worry about that.
Did you see him?
Bro,
Yeah, yeah.
371 pounds, ran a sub 540.
4.8 something.
4.8740.
He was moving.
Excuse me?
Reminded myself.
Okay.
No, that's a
Yeah, I
fuck
wouldn't even feel bad. I watched that whole D line just out there running. I was like, They NFL ready. They've been NFL ready.
They getting drug tested.
300 pounds, run a sub 4, sub 5.
Zion run that fast for a buffet. Watch out now.
Wow, we're
I gotta stop.
Good night.
Hey man, I appreciate you, Debo. Hopefully we can get you in here during the NBA playoffs.
It was my pleasure, man. I
cover
had a
some
good
of the
time.
games,
Thank you
man.
all. I appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Do we going to follow March Madness at all or no?
Absolutely.
What
we
is
got
it?
to.
What about March Madness?
We doing
Follow it a
brackets.
lot.
We can do brackets. We want to do brackets.
Yeah, I'm down.
Okay, Debo, you down to get on the bracket?
You know me. Anything hoops, I'm with.
Hey, he said it. Zion is not skilled. That's what he said. So
Not skilled.
Two
Athletic.
coaches have said it, and now you have to agree. Agree?
I don't agree.
Bro, don't let
I don't agree.
Don't let the flair and theatrics fool you, man. It's just all
I asked DJ,
athleticism.
I said, send me a highlight where he do something outside of. He ain't sent me one yet. It's been a year.
Zion be getting
it's
to it.
working for him. So, but at some point, you got to have some skill. Russ is figuring that out now.
Fair enough. But
Zion
okay,
jumper
hold
look
on.
like his knees hurt.
Milwaukee. Okay, is Giannis skilled?
No.
But he's still dominant.
He's not 400 pounds.
First
That's
off,
true. He's not 400 pounds. He's 7 foot, but he's not skilled. I wouldn't say
Can't nobody
he's-
guard him.
Right.
at least
That's
he can
my
Euro
point.
step.
Well, and he can
Zion
handle
Euro
it.
step, he turned ACL.
Zion averaged 27 points last year.
When the last time he played? What month?
This is episode 40 of the From the Jump podcast. I'm your host, DJ, with my bro host. You know how it go, though.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to our special guest, Coach D. And
Shout out
we
to the